Titan families. Today is the day. Whether you live here in Parker, traveled across the country to be here today, or watching live from home, thank you for being here for this monumental day in our lives. It is my pleasure to welcome each of you to the graduation ceremony of Legend High School's class of 2026.
Before we roll out the red carpet and begin, we kindly ask that you please put away all cell phones for the duration of the ceremony. We also please ask that you silence any buzzes or dings to ensure respect for all speakers and performers.
We know a lot of you in the audience are eager to capture this moment with your cameras and phones, but we ask you to please save your paparazzi until the conclusion of the event. But don't worry, there's a full live stream that will be posted on YouTube that you can revisit at a later time. Now, please join me in welcoming Ava Arguello in her original composition of Where It All Started.
If we're starting with confessions, I've got a few. I've spent all my time working for what I wanna do, yeah. But I realized our time had gone so fast, and I'm eager for the future. But what of the past? Spent 4 years waking up, making friends, doing stuff to work towards our purpose, or to find what just turns it. Spent this time going out, staying in what high school's about. I know we've had bad days, but one thing I gotta say is thank you for all the tears and laughter, for all the times I tried, all of the dreams I chased after. And thank you for giving me the space to make new friends, break some hearts, 'cause at the end of the day, this is where it all started for us. And I'll be honest, I'm terrified of what's to come, of leaving all I've built and people that I love. And I know it's hard, I promise you're not alone. We might be strangers, but I'm sure you've grown. Take a breath, let it out, sing a song, scream and shout. Take in this moment, make it yours and own it. Yeah, I'm stressed and I'm scared, but for once, I just don't care, 'cause we finally made it through it. I'm celebrating. Thank you for all the tears and laughter, for all the times I tried, all of the dreams I chased after. And thank you for giving me the space to make new friends, break some hearts, 'cause at the end of the day, this is where it all started for us. I've seen the highs and lows, had doors open and close. I know just how the story's supposed to go, but found strength I've never known, and in every step it shows I've grown. And now I'm ready to go, so thank you for all the tears and laughter, for all the times I tried, all of the dreams I chased after. And thank you for giving me the space let's make a new start.
This is such a special moment in all of our graduates' lives, and we are so excited that we get to share it with all of you. Would you please stand to welcome the class of 2026 and remain standing until the conclusion of the national anthem, sang by Holly Williams and Tessa Waterman.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Friends, family, and guests, the day we've all been waiting for is finally here, and the class of 2026 is ready to celebrate together for one last time.
We know the road here was full of many unexpected turns, but it has led us to this moment together. Behind every seat here is a story that made this all possible.
My fellow student body president, Haley Connolly, left a legacy here at Legend High School, being involved in countless clubs, activities, involved in tennis, student government, FBLA, and DECA, all while completing her CNA certification. Next year, she plans on majoring in public health with an emphasis in health science at Brigham Young University. Now, audience, I need your help. On the count of 3, cheer Go Cougars. Ready? 1, 2, 3,
Go Cougars!
Working with Maya Johnson as my co-senior class president has been truly unforgettable. Maya radiates positivity wherever she goes, whether that's through PALMS, FBLA, the CNA program, or student government. Maya will be attending the University of Missouri in the fall and studying nursing. Now, I need a Go Tigers on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Go Tigers! This is my amazing fellow student body president, Suhas Gandam. You'll find Suhas at DECA, advocating for his town, the wrestling mats, or at the park, flying his kite. I'm so excited to see what Suhas accomplishes next year at Cal Poly, majoring philosophy. Now, I need you guys to yell, Go Mustangs with me on 3. 1, 2, 3,
Go Mustangs!
This is Clara Pickford. I'm lucky to know her as my co-president and one of my best friends. You would probably find Clara on the flag football field or joining FBLA, FCA, or in student government. Clara will be attending the University of Arizona in the fall and studying law, and you know she will be soaking up every moment as a wildcat. Now, audience, for one last time, let's give Clara a huge bear down. 1, 2, 3,
Bear down.
Like Dr. Seuss once said, you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. 13 years, or 4,745 days have passed since we first started school. So let's take a trip down memory lane.
In elementary school, our favorite time of day was recess and nap time.
The start of 6th grade, also known as the awkward years, was interrupted by COVID.
We spent our middle school years behind masks, but still, we grew into teenagers ready for high school.
Throughout all of these years, we've had many role models who've helped us navigate our lives and paths into the future.
And none of it would be possible without our amazing feeder school leaders who have shaped us into the people we are today.
The class of 2026 is honored to have you with us today, and we would like to say thank you.
Now, please help us give a warm welcome to the leaders from our Parker feeder schools, Gina Landis, Pioneer Elementary,
Jenny Brown, Gold Rush Elementary.
Jenna Munoz, Iron Horse Elementary.
Kirsten Hall, Frontier Valley Elementary.
Chris Zimmerman, Cimarron Middle School,
There are many more teachers and staff from our feeder schools who have joined us in the audience today, so would you please stand now to be recognized?
Starting off with high school, the day we stepped foot into Legend marked 1,095 days to be a Titan. That's 4 years of memories to be made. Starting off with freshman orientation, where we played silly games and made lasting memories, the rest of freshman year was filled with us navigating the hallways, our classes, and most importantly, ourselves as growing individuals and teenagers.
Sophomore year, only 3 years left. By now, many of us have started to find our grounding and work towards more extracurriculars and activities. Our anxious parents watched as we took to the wheel and began our lives on the road, now making memories as licensed individuals.
Junior year. This was probably the hardest year for most of us. Thinking about our futures, taking the SAT, and making sure our grades were the best they could be at. And we did it. We survived a year that was the textbook definition of the hardest year of high school.
Our first day of senior year meant only 175 days of school left, and we were ready to soak up every single one of them. From senior sunrise to sunset, we were smiling through it all. And between the stress of college decisions and senioritis, this year was a roller coaster. But congrats, if you're here today, you'll get to walk the stage, as long as you don't fall.
Graduates, think of how proud your younger self would be of you today. In August, a new kindergartner gets to experience the next 13 years, or 4,745 days. We did it, seniors.
Now, please help us welcome our distinguished guests who work relentlessly behind the scenes to make sure all of us are prepared for the futures.
Our distinguished guests have joined us today, so would you please stand and be recognized as we say your name?
Aaron Kane, Superintendent.
Danny Windsor, Assistant Superintendent.
Matt Reynolds, Chief Learning Officer.
Stacy Rader, Chief Communications Officer.
Kristen Dury, Executive Director of Parker Schools.
And from the Douglas County Board of Education,
Clark Callahan, Board Member.
And lastly, Valerie Thompson, Board Member.
Now, it's time to sit back and relax and enjoy all of our amazing speakers and performers.
Bennett Brubaker is one of our famous Coliseum Crazy overalls, Legend volleyball team captain, and avid chuckler. He is taking his energetic spirit to Arizona Christian to study ministry.
Brennan Saloom is a leader of the Coliseum Crazies, varsity football player, member of AVID, and student government. Brennan will be attending BYU Idaho in the fall.
Sienna Snively was the co-president of our Shine Club and was also involved in student government, Link Crew, and an FBLA national qualifier. Sienna will be taking her positivity to Colorado Mesa University, where she'll be studying elementary education.
Miss Legend, Carrie Waters, has been involved in student government, Link Crew, Pickleball Club, and was a 2-time national qualifier for FBLA. This summer, she's going to BYU Provo, studying family life with an emphasis on human development. Please welcome out Carrie, Bennett, Brennan, and Sienna.
High school is a lot like the weather in Colorado. You can't always predict what's going to happen next.
Growing up in Colorado gives you a certain kind of resilience, like when we start a Monday in shorts but end the week in a coat after a sudden snowstorm. Half the time, we're wishing we packed a different jacket or remembered an umbrella.
Colorado weather keeps you on your toes, especially after this winter, if you can even call it a winter. There's one thing we can all agree on, though. Colorado weather is unpredictable, and so is high school.
1 minute, we were freshmen, wandering the halls, wondering where our classes were, and the next, we were juniors, worrying about SAT scores, college applications, and what our futures might hold.
Somewhere over the last 4 years, the little moments started to matter the most. The quick conversations in the halls, the last minute studying for a test, and the little memories we didn't even realize that we were making at the time.
We've learned to embrace the crazy environment of high school. And similar to that, one thing that I love about Colorado is that you get to see almost every type of weather.
Just like your average spring in Colorado, sometimes a storm comes out of nowhere. Life can feel the same way, unexpected, overwhelming, and hard to predict. But because of Legend, we have learned how to face our storms and any challenges that may come with them. For me, many of those challenges were medical, and there were moments when the path ahead felt uncertain. There were times I felt I was stuck in my own storm. The rain was coming down hard around me, but I held on, knowing there was something brighter on the other side. Because of the encouragement, support, and sense of community here at Legend, I was able to keep going, and I grew into a better version of myself. Each of us have faced our own challenges along the way, whether that was not getting the role you hoped for in the school play, failing a test you studied really hard for, getting cut from a team, or even just not knowing what to do with our next chapter. Yet, we continue to show up for our classes, for our friends, and for ourselves. And now, as we stand here, getting ready to take our next steps, we move forward with confidence, knowing the strength we built here will guide us on our path ahead and help us face any storm that comes our way.
Some of the rainiest days we had have turned into the greatest memories made. As we leave high school behind, we get to take those memories with us. Disappointing experiences have turned into fun stories to share with friends, like the stains on these shoes I'm wearing today. Back in September, when we still had our whole senior year in front of us, these stains were a disappointment. A pair of expensive shoes ruined by wet chalk stains from a rainy football game. It's all about perspective, though. Instead of seeing these shoes as trash goods, a change of heart can tell you that they hold value. Instead of a night of shoes being ruined by rain, it's another night of Legend football dominance over Chaparral, graced by rain to help us hold the memory. The value of these memories holds so much more weight than any physical value can. In high school, we face plenty of rainy days, and we'll face plenty more down the road. However, flowers need a little bit of rain to blossom. And I believe this class is destined to blossom.
In a snowstorm, if you simply have a jacket, it can turn a miserable day into a winter wonderland. The jacket in our lives can be the people who surround us. Through every challenge, friends and family that are in the stands today have kept us grounded. For me, that person in the stands has been my miracle worker, my biggest believer, and my best friend, my mom. As a widowed single mother, she has navigated unpredictability and has shown me how to be resilient. This taught me to keep going with a smile and trust that everything will work out. She taught me to love unconditionally and support others regardless of their ambition. I want you all to think about who in your life has been your jacket and thank them. In high school, all of us have faced unpredictability. These challenges were hard, but be proud, you made it. And soon, you'll walk across this stage as a stronger, more resilient person. And no matter how cold it gets, you'll always have your jacket or your supporters to be there for you.
But we can't forget about all the sunny days that we've experienced. For me, it was going to the state championship for football, and running onto the college field with my teammates is a memory I'll never forget. But standing there helped me realize that even after the early mornings, the long practices, and the setbacks made it all worth it. Over the last 4 years, I could always count on being challenged in class, laughing and making jokes with my friends, and making memories that I know will stick with me long after graduation. We all have our own perfect Colorado sunny days. Whether we're at the lake and we're swimming and paddleboarding, or we're sitting around and talking with our friends and forgetting about everything for a while. It's easy to show up when everything feels perfect, when the weather is clear and unheavy. But on the days that it's not, we still showed up. And those are the days that shaped us of who we are today. And now, like a clear Colorado sky after a long winter, today feels like something we've earned through experience. So as we graduate, let's carry that warmth with us.
As Maya Angelou once said, every storm must run out of rain. And I believe standing here today, we have finally reached that calm after the storm that was high school.
Class of 2026, we have faced many seasons together. We have endured our winters, but look around you today. We have made it to summer, and when we walk off this stage, we will carry every season we have been through with us.
Let's hope the years to come are a little less unpredictable than Colorado weather. But even when they're not, thanks to Legend, we have everything we need.
No matter if there's rain, snow, or sun, remember, this is not just the end of a season, this is the beginning of the rest of our lives.
Thank you.
Next up, please join me in welcoming Axel Lewis, Tessa Waterman, Holly Williams, Ava Arguello, Charlie Cowber, Matthew Denny, Noah Hemingway, and Kian Enriquez performing Unwritten.
the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself with words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. I break traditions. Sometimes my tries are outside the lines. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way, no. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself with words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself with words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself with words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself with words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten.
Jude Brown was the founder and president of the Domino and the Art Club here at Legend. Next year, he plans on taking a gap year, but afterwards will be attending the Massachusetts College of Art and Design, where he will be majoring in fine arts.
Talia Estrella was an officer of HOSA and Spanish National Honor Society. She was also a competitive dancer and has won many awards for her artwork. She'll attend Creighton University in the fall on a pre-med biology track.
Isabella Johnson was a varsity volleyball player and was also involved in Legends Link Crew, NHS, and Legends Yearbook. Izzy recently earned her CNA certification, and she will be taking her future to the Sunset State and studying nursing at the University of Arizona.
Alexa Stewart spent too many hours wrapping each of your burritos at Chipotle and participating in various sports. Next year, she's pursuing her passion for people through a psychology major at Northeastern University. Please welcome out Alexa, Jude, Talia, and Izzy.
What What got you to the point you are at today?
What makes you a good person?
What had the biggest impact on your journey?
What makes you who you are?
I want you all to place your right hand over your chest. Do you feel that? That's your heart. Someday in the medical field, I hope to understand the heart in ways I don't yet. But even now, we all know it. It carried us here. On some days, the heart beats stronger to get us through hard times. Setbacks made it difficult to hold on to our determination, but our hearts persevered. Each of us has felt that pain in your chest when the stress overwhelms you and the emotions take over. It's in these moments you realize the heart is not just an organ, but a physical entity of your endurance. Many organs in the body can stop working, and you will survive, but the heart is vital. Not just for your body, but for your keyboard of emojis. No organ has as many deviations of expression as the heart. It's not just electric pulses, valves, arteries, and veins. It's motivation, journey, hardships, and success. Some days, the heart felt lighter when we made new friends and felt the warmth of the community here at Legend High School. The blue walls, the linoleum floors, the high ceilings with sunlight streaming through. This building cannot encompass the impact it had on each and every one of us. What do you do to make sure someone is strong? Check their pulse. A powerful pulse is always a good sign, and Legend has a pulse like no other. We have artists, learners, and innovators. We have teachers with unparalleled work ethic and students with the power to make change. If I had to measure our school's pulse, I'd say it's beating pretty strong. Legend's pulse is unique with an incredible sense of community, unbeatable support, and never-ending development. I think I can say for all of us that high school was not what we expected. How could we know that we'd face new challenges and come out stronger? I never thought that my heart would carry me this far. The most important things I learned here were never on the test. They were the things I learned when I got knocked down, and my heart helped me get back up.
We've all felt that sudden drop of the heart, the weight of uncertainty in our stomachs. While we can't control every twist of fate, those moments of helplessness are daunting. 4 years ago, stepping in the halls of Legend felt like stepping into the unknown, like walking into the jaws of a crocodile. Yet, looking back, the growth we've achieved and the bonds we've forged have transformed that fear into something invaluable, the certainty that we can do hard things. Life rarely offers easy answers, yet your presence here today is proof of your resilience. I hope you leave here feeling accomplished, very relieved, and maybe not so tired, but it's important to remember what we step away from. The laughing until our stomachs hurt, football games, parties, outings, sleepless nights with our friends, and the thrill of our first time, center stage. As you embark on this next chapter, remember to invest in yourself as deeply as you do in others. By doing so, this will allow love to infiltrate every aspect of your life. Leading with love is the greatest act of courage. While the world often warns against wearing your heart on your sleeve, I challenge you to do just that, to view empathy not as a choice, but as an opportunity. This is no guarantee that you will not have hard days. It is often said that bad things happen to good people, but the truth is, hardships touch everyone. What truly defines us, rather, is not the adversity itself, but how we respond afterwards. You have, after all, survived 100% of your hardest days. How lucky are we to have experienced it all in high school? The trials, the tribulations, and every ounce of love. Whether high school was a time in your life or a chapter in your story that you wish to end, no experience that brought you to this point today was in vain. None of the efforts that brought you here were without purpose.
I took that sense of purpose into my high school career, looking for every possible way to find meaning and community. Entering freshman year, the advice I heard the most was to take the risk, work harder, prioritize your dreams, and spend your time wisely. Stepping into senior year, I fueled myself with that exact mindset, taking 2 AP art classes and trying to stay active however I could. I didn't just want to be memorable, I wanted to achieve what I felt were my goals. Through my crazy undertakings, I saw some gratifying moments, like getting my artwork and designs displayed at the Pace Center, meeting the former chief of the Nansemond tribe in Virginia, and making a drawing of our therapy dog, Vader. The success of these moments didn't come from the finished product. Instead, it came from the bonds I built with the people I connected with. So I leave here today with a different mindset on what these last few years were. As I reflect to see who I've become, I realize that I am more than just a traveler, an artist, or a photographer. I am a believer who was willing to take the risks and do everything he could, even though it might end in a scramble, but I wasn't alone. Every person who chose to be involved with my path believed in me. The participants for the research, the teachers who offered grace, and the friends who kept me company were all by my side. The truth is, none of us are here by ourselves. Everyone sitting here in these blue caps and gowns is here because someone believed in them, whether it was a parent, a mentor, or even a stranger. Today, we are the believers. Believers that know we will become the most amazing people we can be, because even in the most difficult parts of our lives, someone will still believe in us. And this is what truly makes anything possible.
Growing up, I read this book called I Can Be Anything by Jerry Spinelli. Each page of the book was a job that as a kid you dream of being. Puppy dog holder, dandelion blower, puddle stomper, and so on. While these are no longer realistic, although everything would be so much easier if they were, every time I would read the book, I would wonder if I could choose one, which would it be? But how can you possibly choose just one thing when there are endless possibilities? Let me give you a hint. Maybe we don't have to choose just one. We have all spent the last 4 years following everyone's advice and trying to discover ourselves. What drives us, makes us happy, brings us passion, or defines us? What's the one thing that we want to be known for? Maybe for some, it was being a national champion on our Palms team, the lead in Mean Girls, the president of DECA, or maybe you were crazy. For me, my focus was being the best student I could possibly be. I thought that hours of studying, impeccable grades, and all the hard work to get to this point would define me and make me the person I wanted to be. But standing here today at the finish line, I realize now that I'm so much more than just that. We are all so much more than just one thing. We are siblings, leaders, role models, best friends, co-workers, and students, each holding a unique and invaluable part of who we are right now. But as we look ahead, I know we all hope to be much more. I hope to be the joy of my little brothers, the determination of my parents, the strength of my teammates, and above all, the dreams of my younger self. There's so much to choose from, so what will you choose to be? Here's what I've learned. You can never be defined by just one thing. Who we are is not a box that can be checked off. Instead, each of us is a collage, a combination, a beautiful mess of many different pieces. Some of those pieces we choose for ourselves, and some are chosen for us. But regardless, they come together to form the person we are today. The best part is, we still get to add more. This is just one piece in the puzzle of your life. Go out and find all the pieces you still have to fill in.
I encourage you all to believe in yourselves. We have learned in these 4 years that it's okay to make mistakes and to fail. Keep trying and believe in your dreams, because I promise it's the biggest thing you need to succeed.
We have our entire futures sitting in our footsteps. Everything we have wanted is one step away. Moving forward, there will be more moments where it feels like the walls are caving in on you, but I promise you will persevere. I leave you all with this quote. You worry so much for someone who has always figured it out. As you continue to figure life out, I hope your heart keeps leading you. We have 543,000 hours and 32 million minutes of life ahead of us. That's trillions of heartbeats to guide you in your dreams, your passions, and your purpose.
And how do you possibly choose what those are? I think the author was right. You really can be anything. And maybe even better, we can be a little bit of everything.
And wherever your heart leads you, go.
Go!
Go.
Now please welcome Lacey Kimberly, Charlie Colbert, and Avery House performing Home.
another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of the test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you're at the time of your life. Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. Although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. Trouble in my drag down. You get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Ooh, settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. Trouble, it might drag you down. You get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Come on! Ooh, ooh,
Bailey Kaufman was involved in swim, track, edge, Coliseum Crazies, and Link Crew. Next year, she will be attending the University of San Diego, where she will be majoring in international business and human resources.
Rebecca Miller has been a part of the EDGE program, Link Crew, and student government. She participated in the 2025 Softball State Championship and was also my fellow Powder Puff champion. She'll be attending Montana State University in the fall and majoring in sociology.
Miss Legend Molly Larson was the captain of our state runner-up flag football team and another 2025 Powder Puff champion. Molly was also involved in Link Crew in student government. Molly will be attending attending Montana State University and studying nursing. Go Cats!
Reese Betchar has made an incredible impact here at Legend. She was a 4-time varsity volleyball player and captain, and she additionally got her CNA certification and was a Coliseum crazy. Next year, she's headed to Eastern Washington University, studying nursing and playing volleyball. Please welcome out Reese, Bailey, Molly, and Rebecca.
As little kids, we all had that one movie we watched all the time. It might have been Cars,
Tangled,
How to Train Your Dragon,
or The Lion King.
No matter what it was, we all had our own reasons for loving it. It could be that it made us feel safe, reminded us to never give up, was full of action and adventure, or maybe we simply related to one of the characters.
Somehow, these movies felt like they belonged to us. Once we found that favorite movie, we didn't just watch it once, we watched it on repeat.
we got to know the characters, watching them again and again, over and over, until we knew every scene, every song, and every line. These movies didn't just entertain us, they taught us valuable lessons.
Over time, the messages in these movies quietly stuck with us. They shaped how we saw challenges, friendships, dreams, and growing up. And now, sitting here today, we are finally realizing how much these lessons have influenced us.
And a big part of that is the people who have stood by our side the entire way.
Throughout his racing career, Lightning McQueen always wanted to be the best, and he wasn't going to let anyone get in the way of his goal. He pushed himself as hard as he could each day until he finally reached his breaking point, getting in a terrible crash. This led him to realize that life is more than just who crosses the finish line first. We have all chased a goal at some point in our lives, whether it was grades, sports, college decisions, or accomplishments, but when we reflect back on these goals, what we will remember most is the people we met along the way. The ones like Mater, who taught us to laugh even in the hard moments, like Doc, who kept us motivated when we didn't feel like trying, and like Sally, who constantly reminded us that we are more than what we do. We remember how they stuck by us through all the ups and downs and how they helped us get where we are today.
While some of us have been focused on the finish line, others have been focused on something just as important, taking that first step into the unknown.
As a little girl, Rapunzel always dreamed of leaving her castle to see the floating lanterns. But she was held back by the fear of the unknown, of what might happen to venture out if she ventured out to chase those dreams, or what would happen if she found them. Up until now, many of us have been sheltered by the comfort of familiar people and places, staying in our same small bubbles. And with that comes a natural fear of stepping out beyond the life we know. The reality is, there is a lot that could go wrong in these next steps. But being afraid of change means we will never get to experience everything that will go right. When Rapunzel left her tower, things definitely went wrong. She got lost, she met some sketchy people. She could have let these trials consume her and given up, but she didn't. She held tight to her dream and along the way discovered who she was born to be. Like Rapunzel, we all have dreams that we are working to achieve. The path will not be linear, but through the twists and turns, we learn and grow. In these next steps, we begin to understand that it's not just about finding our floating lanterns, it's about finding ourselves.
Sometimes the hardest part isn't chasing the dream, it's believing in yourself even when things feel uncertain.
Simba always struggled with who he was and where he belonged. When the world started to turn its back on him and throw challenges his way, he chose to turn his back on the world instead of facing the challenges head on. We've all had moments where we have felt uncertain when we were doubting ourselves and didn't know what to do. For me, there have been many moments, whether it was in swim or track, where I was unsure about how I was going to perform. I didn't trust myself. In those moments, I take time to remind myself to trust my training. When I stay positive and run towards what I want, I instantly believe in myself and know what I'm capable of doing. When Simba was away, he grew more confident, learning who he was and who he wanted to be. He returned home stronger than before. As we step into the next chapters of our lives, we will face many things that will test us. We will need to be brave, believe in ourselves, choose to stand tall, and run towards what we want, not away from it.
Despite gaining the strength to move forward, there will still be many obstacles that feel unfamiliar and challenge who we are.
Hiccup always struggled with who he was and where he fit in, especially in a world that expected him to be someone that he wasn't. As high school students, we were a lot like him, feeling pressure to fit in, meet expectations, and be who others wanted us to be. When people doubted or judged Hiccup, he could have changed who he was to fit their idea of normal. But instead, he stayed true to himself and stuck by his beliefs. We've all had moments where we felt doubted or unsure, like we didn't quite fit in. Maybe it was with a group of friends, in a sport, or in a class we felt out of place of. This year, I took a math class I really struggled in. I constantly felt like I was the only person who was lost in the equations and didn't understand what was going on. This struggle made me realize I had to be different than the rest of my classmates and think outside of the box. Once I found a way to learn that made sense to me, I saw great success. Just like Hiccup, these moments have shaped us and allowed us to grow into exactly who we're meant to be. So, as we step into the next chapter of our lives, it's important to remember that our differences were never our weakness, but one of our greatest strengths. If we continue to trust ourselves, stand by our values, and not let others define us, we can create our own path, just like Hiccup did.
When we were younger, we didn't realize how meaningful those moments were. Sitting on the couch, watching the same movie for the 100th time didn't feel important. But somehow, those stories and lessons stayed with us.
Now, as we're standing here today, we are starting to see the importance in these things that once felt insignificant. Because these moments, these memories, and these people are what we are going to carry with us.
One day, we will look back on all of the late nights, early mornings, small conversations, and ordinary days, and realize they mean so much more than we ever knew at the time. So as we move forward into whatever may come next,
remember the lessons that our favorite childhood movies taught us. To take that first step, even if we're scared, to chase our goals, to face our challenges head on and not run from them, and to take that leap of faith into the unknown.
Because just like in the movies we grew up loving, this isn't the end of the story.
It's just the beginning.
Next up, we have Wide Open Spaces performed by Bria Wilkinson, Noah Hemingway, Miwa Davey, and Matthew Denny.
I'm talking about. Who's never left home, who's never struck out to find a dream and a life of their own. A place in the clouds, a foundation of stone. Many precede and many will follow. A young girl's dreams no longer hollow. It takes the shape of a place out west. But what it holds for her, she hasn't yet guessed. She needs wide open spaces, room to make her big mistakes. She needs new faces, she knows the highest stakes. She traveled this road as a child, wide-eyed and grinning, she never tired. But now she won't be coming back with the rest. If these are life lessons, she'll take this test. She needs wide open spaces, room to make her big mistakes. She needs new faces, she knows the highest stakes. She knows the highest stakes.
Now, please help us welcome our beloved principal, Ms. Zimmerman. We knew she was a devoted principal when she came to our first assembly in a pink wig in front of our entire student body.
Although we did not get much time with her, we are incredibly lucky she was a part of our high school journey. Not everyone sees how much work she puts in behind the scenes, and we know that she will make a huge impact in the Legend community.
With embracing change together, thank you for rolling with the punches that leadership has to offer and showing us that change can not only be beneficial, but incredibly rewarding.
Ms. Zimmerman, we will always remember your infectious smile, welcoming countenance, and friendly greetings in the hallway. Please welcome out our very own principal, Ms. Zimmerman.
Good morning. On behalf of the Legend High School staff and faculty, I would like to welcome you all to Echo Park for this morning's ceremony. I am so excited and deeply honored to stand here today to celebrate your commencement. We haven't known each other for long, but I will always remember appearing in that pink wig or the final assembly waving goodbye while Mr. Farley and Miss Shirk drove the Zamboni behind me. You will forever hold a special place in my heart as my first graduating class as the principal of Legend. But we are here to celebrate your story today. We often say a legend is a story, but a true legend is a story about people. For 4 years, you have been writing that story in our hallways, and today we reach the final chapter of your volume. This accomplishment does not happen alone. It takes dedicated students, supportive families, incredibly hardworking staff that I am so honored to be a part of. Please join me in a round of applause for the following: the Legend staff. These students are here today because of the countless hours and dedication you provided them. Another round of applause for our retirees: Robert U. Daly, Krista Miller, Jay Nelson, Mark Rowe, Monty Thielen, and Ed Watterson. You have given so much of your lives to this community. Another round of applause for our Legend feeder staff and district representatives. Thank you for ensuring there was always a way for these students' success. I would also like to offer my sincere thanks for the people who made this morning possible. Join me in a round of applause for our graduation committee: Eli Moore, Catherine Kennedy, Jordan Schultz, Deb Towser, Kristen Shirk, Shannon O'Neill, and Felicia Fernandez. And a huge round of applause for our student MCs, performers, and speakers. It has been truly remarkable this morning. And finally, parents and guardians, a round of applause for them. You are the primary authors of these students' success, and thank you for trusting us with them. Before we continue, we recognize that many paved the way for this success who could not be with us today. Let us take a moment of silence to reflect on those who have impacted our lives and remain with us in spirit. Thank you. When we look at the story of the class of 2026, we see excellence across the 3 A's: academics, athletics, and activities. You've heard a little bit of numbers earlier today, and as a math teacher at heart, I wanted to throw some more at you. In academics, this class has certainly earned the right to dream big. Overall, you have been awarded over $10 million in scholarship. And throughout your time here at Legend, 414 of you took 2,094 AP courses, and 500 of you took 2,393 concurrent enrollment courses, opening up doors for your next chapter. In activities, your Titan pride has shown through your involvement in clubs, activities, CTSOs like DECA, FBLA, HOSA, and TSA. You exhibited incredible generosity in raising over $516,976.92 during 4 wish weeks to grant 50 wishes. Seniors, you have shown that you care about more than just yourself. And finally, in athletics, your excellence has also been tested on the field and in the courts. You have competed with heart, securing invitations to state competitions, winning regional titles, dominating the Continental League, and being national champions. 34 of you will continue to compete in the sport you love at the collegiate level. Whether on the field or in the Coliseum, you've shown us what it means to bleed blue. Currently, our boys baseball team is competing in state and winning 5-0. You have all demonstrated that it is a great time to be a Titan. Not all stories will end on the field or in the classroom. Within this legendary class, there are those who are choosing a story of profound commitment, choosing a path of service, sacrifice, and courage. Could I please ask the young men and women who have committed to serve our country in the armed forces to stand and be recognized? Thank you for your commitment to serve our country and to defend our freedoms. We are proud of you and we are grateful. Seniors, as you prepare to leave Legend, I wanted to leave you with 2 pieces of advice. The first comes from your class quote from Dr. Seuss. Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. We often think of a legend as a grand, sweeping tale, but at its heart, a legend is simply a story about people. In high school, you chased legendary moments. Wish Week, the Crosstown Throwdown, performing in Mean Girls. Yet the true heart of your story was found in the quiet, disguised moments. The laughter in a crowded classroom, or the teacher who pulled you aside to say, "You can do this." Don't wait for things to become the memories to value them. Live in the now of your next chapter. The second comes from your class song, Landslide. There is a line that says, "Well, I've been afraid of changing because I've built my life around you." It is hard to say goodbye when the story you've written so far is built entirely around these friendships and these hallways. But remember, a legend isn't a static thing. It's a story about people who grow. As the song also says, you have climbed the mountain and turned around. You have seen the view from the hilltop. You have seen the people who helped you reach it, and believe me, because of the chapters you've written together, you are ready for your next peak. Titans, please remember these simple words. I am proud of you, and today is the tomorrow you used to dream about. Thank you. At this time, please help me welcome Superintendent Erin Kane as she joins me on stage. I ask the students of Legend High School to stand for the presentation of the class of 2026. Superintendent Kane, I hereby attest and confirm that the students before you have successfully completed the requirements set forth by the State of Colorado, the Douglas County School District Board of Education, and Legend High School. They are deserving of their high school diplomas, and it is my distinct honor to present to you the Legend High School class of 2026.
Principal Zimmerman, it is my great honor and privilege on behalf of the Douglas County School District and the Douglas County Board of Education to accept the 2026 graduating class of Legend High School. Congratulations to all of you.
Graduates, you may be seated while we begin the presentation of diplomas.
All right, Titans, the time has come. After years of hard work and dedication, we now get to cross the stage and claim our diplomas.
Our faculty heralds, who'll be reading the names of the graduates, are excellent role models, outstanding educators, and people who are dedicated to Legend. Please join me in welcoming
Tracy Early,
Taylor McDowell.
Danny DePietro.
And Charlie Ladbrook.
Clara Catherine Pickford.
Maya Joelle Johnson.
Haley Vera Conley.
Suha Scandam.
Tessa Claire Waterman.
Holly Dawn Williams.
Bennett Earl Brubaker.
Brennan Cole Saloom.
Sienna Erin Snively.
Carrie Lynn Summer Waters.
Ava Josephine Arguello.
Matthew Patrick Denny.
Kian Enriquez.
Noah James Spencer Hemingway.
Charlie Addison Colber.
Amanda Grace Lewis.
Alexa Maria Stewart.
Jude Mackenzie Brown.
Talia Alessandra Estrella.
Isabella Michelle Johnson.
Lacey Lynn Kimberly.
Avery Carol House.
Reese Ann Betchart.
Bailey Morgan Kaufman.
Molly Ann Eleanor Larson.
Rebecca Lynn Miller.
Bria Lynn Wilkinson.
Miwa Lena Ala Davy.
Madison Jean Adams.
Nicholas Abel Algeen.
Blake William Allen.
Ruby Rebecca Allen.
Estrella Rosario Ann Alvarez.
Cooper Robert Anderson.
Roy Lee Antoine.
Isaac Kusi Apia.
Owen Henry Armstrong.
Iman Doha Arian.
Ella Lee Athey.
Riley Nicholas Arsland.
Emma Charlotte Balbergen.
Felix Jonathan Bayberg.
Maya Sue Bobbich.
Bradley Robert Bear.
Christian James Bailey.
Justin Troy Ballard.
Riken Daniel Banks.
Cameron Addison Barajas McMahon.
Julia Lynn Barenberg.
Finley Elizabeth Becker.
Zachary Kale Bagan.
Keegan Emmett Bender.
Wynn Eva Benham.
Jasleen Betancourt.
Elizabeth Christine Besner.
Gavin Charles Binder.
Madison Haley Bishop.
Damian Daniel Blackwell.
Phoebe Alyssa Blankman.
Caden McKay Blaylock.
Lila Lois Blomgren.
Aviana Angelina Bocchio.
James Richard Bolton.
Brady Lee Boomer.
Davion Jordan Bordeaux.
Eliana Grace Borovicki.
Micaela Marie Belandra Bossi.
Avery Grace Brand.
Devon Robert Breaker.
Khadijah K. Brandt.
Lauren Marcel Brisnahan.
Jameson Isabella Brogan.
Corwin Addison Brown.
Myron Lamar Brandt.
Max Audrey Mackenzie Brown.
Natalie McKenna Brutvan.
Jack Thomas Buan.
Tiffany Briella Buffington.
Rowan James Bullock.
Emma Grace Buss.
Jocelyn Blythe Buswell.
Caitlin Renee Butterfield.
Mackenzie Ann Calderon.
Brookshire Joseph Calhoun.
Carly Lynn Calhoun.
Christian Gabriel Calzada.
Amon Rahim Cambrellin.
Nicholas Richard Campbell.
David Morse Cannon.
Lucy Helen Capel.
Will Barlow Capri.
Isabella Alexandra Caridad Fuenmayor.
Ava Grace Carone.
Ashlyn Marie Carpenter.
Jaden Pierce Cavera.
Alyssa Marie Cheeseman.
Michael Tyler Chrisman.
Jacob Lee Clark.
Justin Ronzel Clark.
Sadie Joy Clark.
Layla May Cause.
Easton Andrew Coleman.
Hannah Kaylee Coleman.
Elijah Lehigh Young.
Madeline Grace Connolly.
Carson Joseph Cook.
Eliana Grace Cooley.
Madison Joy Coombs.
Ernestina Love Cortez.
Sarah Faith Cowling.
Cruz Cowley Crandall.
Dominic Trenton Creed.
Annika Jean Cruz.
Michael Christopher Crow.
Natalia Marie Kirchie.
Ella Ann Danke.
Colin Theodore Than Doughty.
Brady Ray Davis.
Jada Elizabeth Davis.
Joshua Aiden Davis.
Mark Jacob de la Pena.
Claire Marie Degenhart.
Broderick James Dell.
Jack Avery De Loera.
Aiden Onesima de Luna.
Madison Kaylee Dennis.
Micaiah Ann Dyack.
Cherie Nicolette Dickinson.
Tatum Christine Dickon.
Tristan Hui Du.
Darcy Joe Dodge.
Isaac Paul Dolly.
Cash McKee Dorsey.
Jacob Lawrence Dost.
Jason Connor Dowd.
Joshua Gregory Dryden.
Monogana Du Girala.
Michaela Michelle Dunlap.
Caden Thomas Dutilli.
Baron Lewis Dutton.
Neil Michael Dwyer.
Haley Nicole Ekman.
Austin Chase Edwards.
Kai Lee Edwards.
Anya Rose Efron.
Hunter Craig Travis Egan.
Luke Patrick Egan.
Jacob Pio Eisenbiel.
Jagger Rye Ellis.
Alana Nika Danae Ellison.
McKinley Claire Elia.
Matilda Scout Emmanuel.
Jackson Isaac MD.
Chloe Allison England.
Anderson Scott Evans.
Owen Jason Evans.
Hannah May Ekstrom.
William James Erickson. Haley K. Ekstrom.
Samantha Joe Fangman.
Mohammed Farhan.
Savannah Faith Farris.
Jonathan Scott Foshnot.
Maggie Reese Fellers.
Leah Rose Femery.
Andrew Elgin Fenton.
Dylan Lee Ferguson.
Catalina Sierra Farrell.
Gwyneth Nicole Fick.
Riley Anita Nicole Fisher.
Logan Leroy Fleming.
Jasmine Louise Folk.
McKinley Kate Fordyce.
Torrin Robert Forrest.
Mackenzie Elizabeth Frakes Belair.
Riley May Fusco.
Kelsey Elizabeth Gallegos.
Mateus Nicholas Gaskins.
Zaire Najale Gatewards Fry.
Dane Austin Gaynor.
Bryce Allen James Gerbino.
Hallie Ann Giroux.
Ariana Grace Jacoby.
Guy Yushang Gibbs.
Jordan Mackenzie Giedel.
Vincent Mark Gilbert.
Owen Dylan Lucas Glick.
Carson John Gallus.
Julian Alexandro Gomez Morales.
Harley Jean Gommel.
Callisto Landis Gonzalez.
Rhea Marie Gonzalez.
Andy Grace Goodwill.
Brooks Wilma Gosen.
Hollis David Gosen.
Sasha Anna Gordon.
Lily Jane Grabeau.
Amanda Eugenia Grant.
Seth Andrew Griffin.
Alexander Joseph Griffiths.
Joanna Susan Groby.
Sean Michael Girton.
Devin Alexander Judici.
Nicholas Martin Guillen.
Alexa Christine Gwynn.
Audrey Gwynn.
Haley Michelle Gunius.
Alexander Richard Guntart.
Talon Nicholas Gustafson.
Brendan Martin McKenna Haley.
Marin Louise Hall.
Mackenzie Grace Hamilton.
Isabella Grace Hanson.
Jacob Matthew Harding.
Carson Margaret Becker Harris.
Alexis Taylor Harrison.
Jessica Nicole Hashem.
Luke Jacob Hawkins.
Owen Jack Heersink.
Karis Ireland Joy Henderson.
Michaela Ann Hendrickson.
Alyssa Jade Herbert.
Zoe Faith Heth.
Maya Lene Hicks.
Carson Jacob Holting.
Brady Alexander Hoffman.
Chase Nicholas Holcomb.
Malachi Deshaun Holloway.
James Richard Holmquist.
Haley Renee Hora.
Zachary Ryan Hora.
Mackenzie Jordan Hoppy.
Noah Douglas Hornsby.
Tyler Jens Hulberg.
Yulia Erikovna Hughes.
Evan Nicholas Humble.
Taz Maleko Heyer.
Adson Renee Ice.
Ryan Ford Iglesias.
Gianna Jack.
Madison Lee Jardine.
Reagan Ellis Jennings.
Ian Matthew Jensen.
Lucas Grayson Jessup.
Tyson Brandon Jewett.
Adam Quinn Johnson.
Lindsay Ann Johnson.
Grant Daniel Juarez.
Douglas Allen Kaiser III.
Andre Elias William Wundura Kalogaris.
Peyton Nicole Keeney.
James Francis Kendrick.
Aspen Andrea May Kern.
Layla Grace Kettering.
Rihan Deepukan.
Cade Jackson Kibbe.
Carly Marie Kidd.
Elizabeth Angelica Kim.
Alyssa Marie King.
Holly Lynn King.
Anna Stewart Kinney.
Jackson Reed Kaiser.
Tucker Robert Knight.
Ella Cheyenne Nisley.
Cody Douglas Knox.
David Anthony Kozleski.
Jenna Alexis Kramer.
Lily Harper Kruger.
Finley Josephine Kuhn.
Maya Elizabeth Kuramoto.
Vincent Matthew LaCrue.
Jacob Thomas Lamberson.
Tiernan James Lancaster.
Brenner Dugal Lawson.
Cassidy New Lee.
Benjamin Lawrence Lee.
Ella Marie Lehman.
Oliver Burke Lemon.
Piper Lynn Leo.
Caitlin Marie Leonard.
Ali Lorraine Lepzinski.
Addison Allie Lesage.
Owen Allen Lindblom.
Molly Elizabeth Leota.
Hudson Thomas Little.
Carson Wayne Locken.
Emma Trey Lofton.
Jack Robert Logan.
Caitlin Morgan Lord.
Maximus Chadwick Luth.
Devin Riley Lund.
Mia Catherine McDougall.
Janisha Mahajan.
Connor David Mikowski.
Daniel Shafiq Malik.
Benjamin Manning.
Avery Estella Manzanares.
Carabo Ocean Mapolo.
Cooper Blair Martin.
Julian Samuel Martin.
Trevor Charles Martin.
Jocelyn Reina Mata.
Zoe Claire Matherly.
Anthony Thomas Matheson.
Connor Miles Matson.
Case Carter Madison.
Peyton Madison Maxwell.
Addison Marie May.
Jenna Elizabeth May.
Madeline Elizabeth Mayhew.
Maverick Matthew McAdams.
Nolan Robert McCann.
Brecklin Eliha McConkey.
Stephanie Mary McCulley.
Sean Michael McDonough.
Leah Megan McGuire.
Caitlin Suzanne McIntosh.
Maylee Sophia Medina.
Maya Elizabeth Meyer.
Elise Julia Melinder.
Jacoby Connor Mellon.
Congrats.
Caitlin Emily Mendy.
Alexa Renee Meyer.
Marcos Luca Silva Mikael.
Peyton Cecilia Mia.
Jackson Reese Miller.
Liliana Ray Miller.
Spencer Allen Mills.
Elise Marie Mizones.
Annamai Moeller.
Zoe Elnora Moore.
Shruti Mohan Kumar.
Mia Montroy.
Liam Thomas Moore.
Caleb Austin Mueller.
Kimia Mortazi.
Coleman Harris Mortel.
Devin Mary Mortimer.
Cade Burnell Nelson.
Brecken Gabriel Myers.
Ramir Prasad Natial.
Elias Michael Nelson.
Sethian Orion Nicodemus.
Elizabeth Grace Nelson.
Derek Philip Neuenschwander.
Jackson Zine Newcomer.
Carson Joshua Auden.
Kyle Richard Zajac Norwood.
Brady Michael O'Brien.
Miley Laurie Oakman.
Jack Allen Orris.
Jessica Oudkirk.
Annika Riley Olson.
Davis Jeffrey Olson.
Madeline Patrice Over.
Brendan Alexis Ortiz.
Claudia Susan Ortwerth.
Austin Oster.
Shade Rigel Robert the Bruce Parker Hossey.
Cecilia Aaron Overby.
Joseph Kakule Paluku.
Bryce Caden Parker.
Joshua Arthur Payton.
Kelsey Marie Pedersen.
Everett Michael Pemberton.
Fares Phillips.
Sydney Reese Phillips.
Molly Olivia Pickett.
Avery Olivia Pointer.
Eva May Pipkin.
Ashoda Gita Pachekanu.
Daniel Kimball Plan.
Ryan Thomas Prihodko.
William Brandon Post.
Garrett Jacob Paust.
Anna Victoria Elizabeth Prado.
Ethan Carl Randall.
Grayson Michael Quizert.
Trenton Radovsich.
Sasha Emma Rajashekar.
Sophie J. Ryman.
Zuriel Patricio Ramos.
Charlotte I. Ratcliffe.
Annie Rose Marie Reichhardt.
Maximus Alexander Reynolds.
Sebastian Franz Reinhardt.
Gavin Nolan Reinhardt.
David Anthony Reyes.
Ilaria Ritricina.
Melody Rose Lewine Reynolds.
Caitlin Nicole Riggett.
Grace Jean Renault.
Ruby May Rodova.
Rebecca Marion Robbins.
Max Thomas Roberts.
Paul Rayford Robinson.
Alexander James Rose.
Aiden Kenneth Rohrbach.
Court William Rohrbach.
Abigail Alicia Rodriguez.
Abigail Marie Ryan.
Sean Mark Rose.
Cruz Wesson Rotunda.
Mackenzie Joe Rumler.
Samuel David Sandy.
Riley Grace Sane.
Izzy Catalina Sanchez.
Isaiah Solomon Sanchez.
Annika Adrian Sawyer.
Cameron Jenkins Sarvis.
Tristan River Wayne Sauter.
Andrew Vladimir Saviliev.
Madison Marie Scheibel.
Vincent Richard Scalise.
Keegan Raymond Scarbosio.
Landon Taylor Schaffner.
Landon Niels Shepamaker.
Mason Matthew Schurman.
Anderson Will Schick.
Hunter Pierce Schmidt.
Ryan Harley Schnee.
Ryan Samuel Schneider.
McKenna Lee Schreiber.
Dakota Lee Scott.
Jack William Scott.
Dane Russell Seamster.
Natalie Ray Shanley.
Eliza Delaney Shannon.
Emma Jean Shimanek.
Christian Gabriel Simpson.
Colby Ryan Sims.
Kaylee Elizabeth Sins.
Julia Emmeline Slavsky.
Reed Lewis Slingland.
Sophia Jean Sloan.
Atticus Mason Smith.
Tell me when to go, though, because I watched it.
Cooper James Smith.
Jack Gregory Smith.
Natalie Aaron Smith.
Madeline Marshall Smolin.
Logan Robert Smolinski.
Brody James Snook.
Addison Grace St. Louis.
Amelia Marie St. Martin.
Anna Emily Stoliker.
Miley Jean Starnes.
Ryan John Stefanik.
Maximilian David Steinhoff.
Riley Shea Stuber.
Abigail Bryn Stonecipher.
Gideon Elway Streifel.
Bauer Thomas Swank.
Gunnison Sawyer Zumalis.
Ben Lee Tafoya.
Tristan Andrew Tafoya.
James Patrick Tanaka.
Jackson Vincent Taylor.
Madison K. Taylor.
Dexter Scott Telford.
Connor William Thiessen.
Emma Rose Thomas.
Hunter Joseph Thomas.
Lucille Jazz Thompson.
Amanda Kate Timmons.
Elise Tahoon Tobin.
Azariah Jesus Todd.
Tanis Hayden Tracy.
William Alexander Treadwell.
You doing something?
Bailey Grace Tucker.
Logan John Turner.
Gavin Aragon Tyler.
Vidya Vash.
Zacharias Edward Barnes.
Diego Cruz Vasquez.
Macy Isabel Vaughn.
Camilla Mercedes Velez.
Lila Elizabeth Vestal.
Jackson Wyatt Vickers.
Reagan Lucia Volpe.
Olive Walker.
Michael Truitt Ward.
Clayt McKay Warnick.
Jackson Connor Watts.
Trevor Kent Weed.
Dylan Edward Winemaster.
Maggie Jewel Whittison.
Dylan Luke Wiley.
Aaliyah Faith Williams.
Jackson Lawrence Williams.
Kensington Elin Williams.
Quinn Walter Williams.
Race Walker Williams.
Anaya June Williams Torres.
Carter Nicholas Wilson.
Joshua David Winter.
Carson Asher Yancey.
Marcelo Martos Yang.
Zoe Marie Zeese.
Michael Anthony Zweisen.
Isabella Natalie Zidiak.
Now, please join me in welcoming our senior choir members performing our class song, Landslide.
I took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around. And I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills when a landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tide? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder. Children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder. Children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I'm getting older too. So take this love and take it down. Yeah, if you climb a mountain and you turn around, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills when a landslide brought me down, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, maybe, well, maybe a landslide will bring you down.
Now, Titans, some final pieces of advice for our last moments together.
Just like the weather, like some of you know, I love very much, relationships come and go. Our lives are built on the relationships that we choose to nurture. Invest in people that choose you, and be intentional about others in return.
The future is bright and life moves pretty fast, so make sure to be present in every moment. Stop and listen and always lead with your heart.
Just like the childhood shows and movies we watched in our youth, the time we always thought was so far away has finally arrived. Our picture-perfect graduation is coming to an end. Graduates, here's to lifelong friendships, new beginnings, and endless possibilities ahead.
Titans, remember.
You are ready. And for the moment we have all been waiting for, Legend Class of 2026, please stand. Now,
Join
us in turning your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations, Class of 2026! We did it!